Here's the AI story everyone's talking about today. Why AI agents need interaction infrastructure. 10 more follow. Daily AI Digest, April 25, 2026. Second research story. Pay close attention to this. A major development emerged from yet today. Here's what actually happened. To stop automation waste, enterprises must deploy interaction infrastructure that physically governs how independent AI agents operate. AI agents now populate corporate networks, reasoning through tasks and executing decisions with increasing autonomy. The ripple effects from this story will take time to surface, but the direction is already becoming clear. We'll have more as this develops. Link in the description for the full source. Third in research. This is significant. You may have caught Google in the Daily Finance Digest earlier this week. The story now crosses into today's coverage. Here is a story that looks routine on the surface. The implications are anything but. Here is the full picture. This follows a similar but smaller investment by Amazon just days ago. The ripple effects from this story will take time to surface, but the direction is already becoming clear. This one is worth bookmarking and revisiting in a week when the dust has settled. Fourth research story. This is significant. Investors put serious money into AMI Labs. Here is what they're buying. What we know so far. $1 billion in startup funding for a company that employs 12 people is an indication that investors still have faith in AI. But the founder of the startup in question, AMI Labs Yan LeCun, believes that the breed of technology we currently term AI, large language models, is not the way through. The post, the billion-dollar startup with a different idea for AI, appeared first on AI News. The valuation implies a bet on a very specific future. Whether that bet pays off depends on execution. If this is in your sector, your competitors just got more resourced. And the final research story before we get into products. Regular viewers will remember recently we broke down round tables, unveiling the 10 things that. Introducing just shipped something, and the timing tells you a lot about where this space is heading. The details matter here. This is today's edition of The Download, our weekday newsletter that provides a daily dose of what's going on in the world of technology. Introducing 10 things that matter in AI right now, what actually matters in AI right now. The question is not whether this product exists, it's whether it's good enough to change your workflow. If this solves a problem you have, the link to try it is in the description. Leading the research section with this, pay close attention to this. Here is a story that looks routine on the surface. The implications are anything but. Let's break it down. I don't need to tell you that AI is everywhere, or that it is being used increasingly in hospitals. The ripple effects from this story will take time to surface, but the direction is already becoming clear. This one is worth bookmarking and revisiting in a week when the dust has settled. Research done, products up. This is where theory hits your daily tools. 5 launches worth your attention. Second product story. You may have caught Meta in the Daily Finance Digest earlier this week. The story now crosses into today's coverage. This connects to Solar Notch's another win as Microsoft, which we first covered recently. The headline undersells what actually happened here. Let me give you the full picture. Here's what actually happened. The company already has more than 12 gigawatts of capacity in its renewable power portfolio. The ripple effects from this story will take time to surface, but the direction is already becoming clear. Subscribe to stay ahead of stories like this before they become mainstream headlines. Third product story, important update, millions of records. Out in the open. Following Paramount's guidances, data exposure is worse than first reported. Here is the full picture. Following Paramount's guidances, move to launch an investigation into how its upcoming Avatar Aang, the last Airbender animated feature leaked onto the internet, a suspect has been taken into custody by police. The Straits Times reports Singaporean police have arrested a 26-year-old man who is alleged to have uploaded the new Avatar movie, previously titled, "If you have an account with the affected service, change your password and enable two-factor authentication immediately. Monitor your accounts for unusual activity over the next 48 hours." Fourth product story. You may have caught they in the Daily Finance Digest earlier this week. The story now crosses into today's coverage. A fine, a ban, or a lawsuit, whichever it is, one is in a difficult position. What we know so far: I've been testing compact, magnetic Qi2 power banks that can snap onto your phone for an upcoming buying guide. They make recharging much easier than bringing along a huge battery that weighs down your bag. This is one of those cases where the outcome affects not just the company involved, but the entire sector's operating model. If you operate in this space, legal and compliance teams need to see this today. And the final product story of the day. You may have caught Microsoft in the Daily Finance Digest earlier this week. The story now crosses into today's coverage. A critical flaw, and it has been weaponized. Here is who is at risk. The details matter here. Windows users will no longer be forced to run automatic updates in the middle of a game or a busy day. Microsoft is rolling out some long-awaited changes to Windows Update to users on its dev and experimental Windows Insider channels, including the ability to indefinitely delay updates up to 35 days at a time. If you're running the affected software, patching is not optional, exploit code is already circulating. If patching today is not possible, isolate the affected systems until it is. Leading the product section with this important update, you may have caught Microsoft in the Daily Finance Digest earlier this week. The story now crosses into today's coverage. Double Fine just bought Microsoft. The market is still absorbing that number. Let's break it down. For a while there, it seemed like Double Fine might be struggling under the Microsoft corporate umbrella. The game studio, led by Tim Schafer, is beloved for offbeat titles like Brutal Legend and Broken Age. But after being acquired by Microsoft in 2019, its only new release for years was